Okay, in today's class we are starting meaning of income. Okay, section 2 subsection 24 meaning of income is defined. Actually this is a inclusive definition, and in this particular section regularly items will increasing. Regularly means year on year basis. Generally nature of incomes which is came into the taxation matters, and that is taxable means it is included here. So meaning of income is generally what is meant by income according to income tax law. Generally whenever assessee received anything, it can be a receipt or it can be income. Okay, like loan borrowing is a receipt, but loan borrowing is not a income, right? Similarly, capital introduced in the business, clear, loan repayment. So receipts, payments, both are possible, but among receipts some items will be incomes, some items will not be income, like interest receipt, rent, clear, dividend receipt. So this is receipt also as well as income also. So burden of proof will be always on assessee. Assessee has to prove ki it is a receipt, it is a income. If assessee unable to prove ki even it is receipt also, it will be taken as income. If assessee clearly explains, clearly, successfully, satisfactorily explain ki this is only receipt, then it is not taxable. If he unable to explain means sometime receipt is also treated as income. So always burden of proof will be on assessee. Now some items are clearly mentioned in income tax law. This is always treated as income. Here assessee will not generally give any clarification. In advance income tax law clearly mentioned ki whenever these items are generally came into the taxation matter, this is treated as income. So in that first item is profits and gains of business and profession. If any profits or gains related to business or profession is there, that is always treated as income. That may be trading business, that is manufacturing business, or that can be any form of business. Similarly profession also. There from profession, if any fees received, any emolument received, that is also treated as what? Income. So profits and gains of business and profession is the first item which is covered in the definition of 2 subsection 24. Next is dividend. Dividend is generally payable on equity shares and preference shares. So dividend is always treated as income. So dividend is always subject to TDS. Here after receipt of dividend, assessee will not pay the tax. Already companies will deduct the tax at source in advance. So net amount only assessee will receive here. Always any company which declares the dividend, first they will deduct the TDS, thereafter net amount only given to the assessee. So dividend is always income. That's why it is taxable. Sometime some relaxations are there, but right now dividend is taxable to almost all. Clear? Next is voluntary contribution. This point I will explain at later stage. Means here so many items are there. Some items you can understand easily. Some items you can understand after completion of entire subject only. Because right now you don't have any idea about income tax law. And here they given the complete list from income tax law ki which item is taxable income, which item is not income. That's why some items are understandable, some items are looking like very new. So you will not understand properly. After certain topics are completed, then you will understand that. Clear? For example, if I say gift is taxable, gift is taxable, you don't have the idea on what basis gift is taxable. Gift is income, it is taxable. So on what basis it is taxable, you don't know the methodology. That's why some items, whatever is mentioned in the definition, clearly understandable. Some items we have to wait. So the items which I am explaining right now, easily you can understand. So next is, suppose you are an employee of company and company is providing some benefits. That benefits are not in cash, that is in kind. or sometimes benefits can be in cash also. So that is called as what? Perquisite. That is called as what? Perquisite. Now the students who are learning taxation first time, they don't know what is the meaning of perquisite. So perquisite means generally means additional benefits provided to assessee, mostly in kind. In very occasional cases it will be in cash, like car facility given, domestic servant facility given, clubhouse facility given, okay, sweeper, watchman facility given, cook facility given, furnished houses provided to him. So all these are called as what? Perquisites. So perquisites also always treated as income. Clear? Perquisites also always treated as what? Income. So right now we are understanding what is the list covering the meaning of income, or which are covered in the definition of income. So perquisite is always income. So whenever you study salary chapter, I will explain this in detail. Okay. Next is profit in lieu of salary. Profit in lieu of salary also you will understand in salaries chapter. Profit in lieu of salary means generally in lieu of salary some benefit, some profits are coming to the assessee. Like before means joining the services of company is giving some compensation. Or after leaving the company also, company is giving one amount or one remuneration to him, employee. So before joining also, assessee receiving the income or employee receiving the income. After termination also sometime he will receive some compensation. So that is called as profit in lieu of salary. Means actually he is not in employment. Before employment or after employment also sometime income is possible. So those incomes are covered in the category of profit in lieu of salary. So profit in lieu of salary exactly means if you are in generally in employment contract, compulsory receive salary, allowances, perquisites, different types of facilities. But once you terminated from the job, even after that also sometime employer has to pay one compensation. So that compensation is also treated as salary and income. Similarly, before joining the services or before joining the employment, some of the companies will offer one consideration. That consideration is also treated as salary. Clear? So that is called as what? Profit in lieu of salary. It is called as what? Profit in lieu of salary. So profit in lieu of salary means generally you are not in contract of employment right now, but still like an employee you are getting the benefit. So that is meant by profit in lieu of salary. Okay? Clear? Next is special allowances or benefit other than perquisites. Allowances means generally it is given in cash. Like in cities majorly employees will face accommodation problem, the house problem. So extra allowance is given to the assessee for meeting this, the house rent allowance. Clear? Sometimes children's education allowance given, sometimes children hostel allowance given. So some allowances are specifically given. Allowances are always given in cash to the employees. So that is also treated as what? Income. These allowances should be related to employer-employee relationship only. Other than that, that is not falling here. If you are an employee of the company, employer providing the allowances, then okay. Understand? So this is the meaning of what? Income so far. Understand? So first item is what? Profits and gains of business and profession. Next is what? Dividend. Next is perquisites, profit in lieu of salary. Then allowances. Allowances you will learn in income from salary chapter in detail. A big list is there. Only I am giving 2-3 examples. Clear? Dearness allowance, city compensatory allowance, children's education allowance, children hostel allowance, lunch or tiffin allowance, transport allowance. So many allowances are there. Clear? here I am explaining 2-3 example. Okay, exactly what is meant by allowance. Allowance means to meet certain issues or certain expenses. Employer will provide that. Like in some organization, dress code is very important. So for those types of SSEs or employees, uniform allowance also given. Suppose you are in research and development. So for those employees, generally they will means provide what? Research allowance. So depends on organization by which type of organization is there. According to that, they will provide some extra allowances or extra benefits. So that is called as what? Special allowance. That is called as what? Special allowance. Clear? This will be exclusively for the performance of duties of office or employment of profit. This is not in personal nature. Personal nature items are not covered here. Okay. Personal nature items at later stage it will come. Like here. Any allowance granted to assessee either to meet personal expenses of the at the place where the duties of office or employment is or profit is provided. So this is given for exclusively official purpose. Any allowance which is given for personal purpose also, that is also treated as what? Income. Clear? Next is sometimes some of the benefits will be given to a key person of the organization. That person is having substantial interest in the organization. Like that person is holding more than 20% share. That person is a director. Okay, and that person's means role is very important in the organization. So for those types of employees also, organization will provide some extra benefits or additional benefits. So those type of people are called as employee having substantial interest in the company. Employee having the substantial interest in the company, especially director. Especially whom? Director. So if director is there, generally director position is very important in organization. So according to his position, extra facilities will be offered to him. So that is also treated as income. Like compulsory motor car is given, domestic servant facility is provided. Like this, directors will receive this. Normal employee, if the position is not very high, he will not get exclusive benefit. House benefit he will get, but domestic servant facility, car facility generally is not given to all employees. If their role is very important and position is important and position is also very high, then you can expect luxurious means facilities from the company. So that is substantially interested. So director is a person who will get the high class benefits from the company. That is also treated as what? Perquisite. That is also treated as what? Perquisite. So income from salary chapter, we will discuss that. Perquisite taxable to all employees, perquisite taxable to specified employees. Clear? So here director will be in the category of specified employee. Which category? Specified employee. So again this point we will discuss in income from salary chapter. Okay. So value of any benefit or perquisite, whatever, whether convertible into money or not, obtained from company either by director or a person who has substantial interest. So this is also treated as what? Income. Understand? Next, compensation for termination or modification of terms or conditions of agency or management. Means sometime there is a termination or sometime there is a modification in the agency contract. Which contract? Agency contract. So in that case also, if terms and conditions are modified or terminated, assessee can receive the compensation. Like they entered into one contract. Initially they decided that work should be done in this way. Later on they decided to change that. And in clearly in the agreement they mentioned that if any changes are taking place or changes will take, the person who is terminating the contract has to pay compensation, or the person who is changing the terms and condition, that person has to pay compensation. That is already decided. So in that case, whatever compensation you receive, that is treated as income. That is not a capital, so there is not a receipt, that is a income. Capital nature or revenue nature, that discussion required at later stage, but that is what? Income. So clearly in advance they mentioned ki bhai compensation whenever received for termination or modification of terms and conditions of agency, then it will be treated as what? Income. So agency service means agents, principal agents relationship. So in that, whatever compensation is received, that compensation will be treated as income. In advance clearly mentioned in the income tax law, this is a income. At later stage, whenever compensation word came, should not have any doubt. The student should be in the comfortable means position ki already we learned this. Like this point will come in other sources chapter and capital gain chapter. Which chapter? Other sources, capital gain. So whenever compensation came, now you have the idea already in 224 income tax law already clearly mentioned ki this is income. So you can understand the things in proper way. First time if you check this and first time if you are facing this, then it is looking like totally new. But already they clearly mentioned ki in 224 this item is covered as income. Understand? In salary chapter also compensation will come. That is retrenchment compensation. So retrenchment compensation means if organization is removing any employee. So once it is removed, employee can claim compensation. So that compensation is also income. So in income tax law, compensations are generally what? Income. That can be related to employment, that can be related to capital gain, that can be related to other sources also. So compensation is a income. Okay, understand? Next, income of trade, professional or similar association from specific services to its member. Suppose if any association is providing services and they are getting some income, that is also treated as what? Income. So income of trade or profession or similar association who are providing the services, that is also treated as income. Clear? Suppose one professional is rendering services, okay, like he is providing the after, suppose in this building only, next floor yoga center, on 4th floor yoga center is there or not? That is a professional service. So if any person is earning the income from that professional service also, that is treated as what? Income. Understand? So income of trade also or profession also. So generally profession word is used when some qualification required. Without any qualification, if you are earning, that is called as vocation. That is called as what? Vocation. So income from profession also treated as income. Income from vocation also treated as income. Income from trade anyhow, that is income only. Clear? Next, deemed profits. Deemed profits you will understand in business and profession chapter and other sources chapter also. Like in other sources we will discuss about deemed dividend, concept of deemed dividend. Okay. Next, in case of business and profession, we will understand the deemed incomes. Means income which will be treated as income. Exactly that is not income, but we will treat that as income. So that is called as what? Deemed. Deemed means according to income tax law, we are assuming that this is a income, but that is not actual income. That is not actual income. Clear? Next, if any income is generated from sale of import license that is also business income. So this point is also we'll cover in PGBP charging section. So PGBP charging section is section 28. In section 28 they clearly mention ki if any profit is arising from sale of license, or if assessee is receiving duty drawback, clear, or any cash, clear, from import export license sale, so that is treated as what? Income. So profit on sale of import license. Suppose you have import license bhai, now you are not using that, you sold that, from that you are getting some benefit, so that is PGBP income. That is not capital gain income. Which income? PGBP. Clear? So that is also income. Clear? Similarly here, cash assistance received or receivable by any person against exports. Already explained na, cash, import exports. Clear? So if government of India is providing any cash assistance because of exports, that is also treated as what? Income. Because due to export, generally what will happen? Foreign currency reserves will increase. Foreign reserves will increase. Foreign currency reserve will increase. Foreign reserves will increase. So always any country, not only in India, any country, you do any export transaction, government will always provide the additional benefits to them. So here also in India, government is providing some cash assistance. That cash assistance is also income. That is also we learn in PGBP in charging section. Clear? So in advance we are understanding this by all points you will get in different topics. Whatever right now we are discussing, all these points will come at later stage in different topics. Right now only we are focusing what? The meaning of income is what? Sometime directly in section 224 question is also tested. So at least you have to write 10-15 items. So we'll get 5-10 marks. So for that purpose we are discussing. Otherwise, if you do not discuss this also, if you learn income tax, easily you can understand this subject. Clear? Now in examination, in what way they will ask the question? All incomes are receipts, but all receipts are not incomes. In this way they will test the question. You have to write this answer. You have to write this answer, section 2 subsection 24. Okay? Then duty drawback. Okay? From that also if you are getting some benefit, that is also income. So cash assistance, sale of import license, cash assistance received for export transaction, duty drawback, all these are related to import export transactions. So that is treated as business income. So that is covered in charging section. Okay? Next, this point is related to your PGBP point, PGBP chapter. Suppose you have the partnership firm. In partnership firm, one partner is there. That partner is receiving remuneration. That partner is receiving bonus. Partner is receiving interest. So by whatever name he is receiving some benefit, that benefit will be treated as what? Income. That is falling in the category of what? Remuneration. Which category? Remuneration. तो सेक्शन 40B में आता है वो. Which section? Section 40B. Okay. So any interest, salary, bonus, remuneration by whatever name called due to or received by a partner of a firm from such firm is also treated as what? Income. Clear? Next is capital gains chargeable under section 45. So any income which is arising from sale of capital asset is capital gain. So sale of capital asset is taking place, and from sale of capital asset if income is earned, that is chargeable under section 45. Charging section is there in capital gain topic. Income tax law, always remember, in every topic starting section is charging section. Main charging section is 4, but after that if you study any chapter, like salary chapter, sections will be 15 to 17. In that, charging section will be 15. House property 22 to 27. In this, charging section will be 22. Similarly, PGBP 28 to 44. Charging section will be 28. Capital gain 45 to 55A. First section is charging section. Other sources 56 to 59. This is charging section. So always first section of law is what? Charging section. Charging section means on what basis income is chargeable. So basis of charge. Basis of charge. Clear? So capital gain income. Capital gain is always treated as what? Income. Clear? Next, profits or gains related to the mutual insurance companies, cooperative societies. Clear? So that is also what? Income. Cooperative societies, tax rate separately we have to study in tax rates. So cooperative society is also a item covered in the definition of person. Clear? So they are also eligible to pay taxes. So any profits or gains they are earning from business or insurance. Clear? Means insurance business se bhi aa sakta hai unko paisa, or any other type of activities also. If they are earning the income, that is treated as what? Income. Clear? ये नीचे वाले point में आ जाएगा वो. Maximally cooperative societies will do what? Banking business. इस business को करते हो लोग? Banking business. Like Agrisen Bank cooperative society है. Mesh Bank cooperative society है. Clear? दारुसलाम बैंक बोलते हैं ना आपके पास? कौन से एरिया में वो? नामपल्ली के पास है, देखिए शायद. That is also what? Cooperative society. So that income is also chargeable because that is covered in the definition of what? Income. So profits and gains of cooperative societies, including banking. Here banking is covered. Here insurance business is covered. And other cooperative societies are covered. Section 44. Clear? Next is, sometime we will earn some incomes from games, lottery, crossword puzzle, horse races, like this. So that is also treated as income. Like you have participated in KBC, luckily you won some prize money. So that will be income. That will be what? Income. Suppose you have participated in a crossword puzzle, luckily you won. So that is also what? Income. Similarly, card games. Here you went to one casino, you started to playing card games. Online card games also available now. In online card games, one person has participated. Before participation, he is having 10 crore bank balance. Now he is driving Ola Auto. This is exactly means fact I am saying, not for entertaining the students. Clear? So winning from lottery, crossword puzzle, horse races, card games, other games, or any sort of gambling, betting. Okay? It is also covered in the definition of income. Clear? Card game, another game of sort. Other game of sort means generally online games or televisions, TV channels, various types of programs in which prize money is offered. So that is covered in the other games of any sort. Other games of any sort. Clear? So till this, all points are clear. Now important points which we will cover at later stages only. I am explaining. Rest of the points we will discuss it separate chapters. Next, Keyman insurance scheme. Suppose if any person is receiving the benefit under Keyman insurance scheme, that sum which we receive under Keyman insurance scheme is also treated as what? Income. Keyman insurance scheme means in one organization some employees are very important. If they don't work in that organization, there is a possibility organization will dissolve or they will face lot of difficulties to operate the business. So for those employees, a very high amount of insurance policy is taken by paying a very high premium amount. So that is treated as what? Humane insurance scheme. It is treated as what? Humane insurance scheme. So very high amount of consideration will come in humane insurance scheme. For example, Infosys Limited has taken the insurance policy on the name of one employee, and that employee is a very key employee. So whatever amount that employee will receive, that will be treated as what? Income. And that is called as what? That is called as what? Income from salary. That is treated as what? Income from salary. In case of other scenarios, separately it is chargeable. Like human insurance scheme is taken on the name of partnership from partner. So it is chargeable under the head PGBP. Clear? In other cases, we have to check if it is not falling in salaries also, if not falling in business and profession also. Ultimately, it is treated as other sources. Clear? Understand? Next, fair market value of inventory referred in section 28, which is ultimately converted into capital asset. Sometime inventory is converted into capital asset. So this point we will also discuss in capital gain chapter, and here PGBP reference is also required. So whenever inventory is converted into capital asset, what is the benefit arising due to conversion? That is also treated as what? Income. Why? First you have inventory. That inventory you are converting into capital asset. And according to fair market value you are converting. Like previously you are doing one business. Now after certain number of years you realize that business is not possible for me to operate. Ultimately you decided now I will close the business. So whatever stock you have, you are converting into capital asset. So in future, whenever you sell, that income is not chargeable in PGBP, that is chargeable in capital gain. So that transaction is called as what? Conversion of inventory into capital asset. Some people convert capital asset also in stock. So conversion of capital asset into stock also possible. Conversion of stock into capital asset also possible. If capital asset is converted into stock, then at what point of time it is taxable? When it is sold. After sale, if some revenue is coming, that is treated as business income. That is treated as what? Business income. And in case of inventory converted into capital asset, then if extra value is arising from that conversion, that extra value or benefit is treated as income. Understand? Next is, this point we will discuss in other sources chapter. Gifts. In which topic? Gifts. Any sum of money or immovable property, any property other than immovable property received by individual HUF, the value of which exceeds 50,000 rupees. So that is treated as income. So this is nothing but gift. Hai. Kya hai? Gift. So gift more than 50,000 rupees. Clear? And that we have to understand ki in aggregate 50,000 or only one transaction 50,000, that is important area in that chapter. We will discuss that. Okay? So cash gift hai, so we have to aggregate. Property hai, so we have to see individual. Property gift means individual, we have to check the 50,000 limit. Individual. Suppose 10 people giving one plot of land to you. That is 40,000 rupees plot. So 10 people you are receiving that. So total value how much? 4 lakh. But that is not taxable. Here aggregate amount is 4 lakh. But in case of property, in income tax law clearly they mention, individually we have to check, not on aggregate basis. But cash gift, suppose you receive cash gift from 20 members and every member is giving 20,000 rupees. If you aggregate, that is to how much? 20,000 rupees you are receiving, suppose bhai, from each member, and from 20 members you are receiving so much? 4 lakhs. So more than 50,000 taxable. More than 50,000 taxable. In this way we have to analyze this. So this is gift. So gift is always treated as what? Income. Now, income is taxable, exempted, that is secondary. Primarily we have to understand what? It is a income or not. It is a income or not. Clear? Next, similarly, this point is also we will cover in other sources chapter. Suppose any shares of a company, not being a company in which public is substantially interested, received by private company or a firm, either without or less consideration. Suppose you are receiving the shares and in that company public is not substantially interested. This public is not having substantial interest in that. So for those companies, shares you are receiving as a consideration, but that amount is generally sometimes without any amount also you are receiving, sometimes for very less consideration you are receiving. For example, 5 lakh rupees shares you are receiving free of cost. 5 lakh rupees shares you are receiving free of cost without any consideration. That is treated as what? Gift. इसको भी गिफ्ट ही मानेंगे. Similarly, 5 lakh rupees shares you are receiving for 1 lakh only. So extra value how much? 4 lakh benefit coming now. So that 4 lakh will be chargeable here. That is also what? Gift. Previous case was related to cash gift and property gift. And this is related to shares. This is related to what? Shares. All this we will discuss in other sources chapter. Okay. Similarly, sometime there is a capital gain transaction. Capital gain transaction means suppose you are interested to sell your property. So before selling the property, first some token money is received, advance money. Understand? After that, terms and conditions, everything will be decided, and then papers will be ready, and one date will be given. On this date, finalization will take place, or title will be transferred. So initially, without paying any token amount, deal will not be entered or finalized. So that is called as advance money. That is called as what? Advance money. So sometime after token money or advance money is given, the person who want to purchase the property, that person will not show the further interest. So in that case, advance money taken will be not refundable. Advance money taken will not be refundable. So that is called as advance money forfeited. That is called as what? Advance money forfeited. This also we will discuss in other sources chapter and capital gain chapter. Which chapter? Other sources and capital gain. So advance money forfeited is also income. Advance money forfeited is also income. Understand? Clear? So here one date is there. Before that date, if advance money forfeited receive, that is capital gain रहता है. After that particular date, if it receive, other sources रहता है. So this subject is a purely based on memory. In the subjects, sometimes you have to remember dates also. The memory based subject है. 40% memory based subject. अगर आपका memory strong है, तो इसमें आप फुल पैसा बना सकते हैं. क्लियर? अगर मैं खाली इनकम टैक्स पढ़ा है तो आज तक मेरे को शायद एक 90% इनकम टैक्स पूरा याद हो जाता था. पूरा इनकम टैक्स एक्ट बोल रहा हूं मैं, खाली मैं एक ही पेपर पढ़ाया तो. क्यों? मैं 8-8 पेपर पढ़ा रहा हूं और सब चीज़ों को याद रख रहा हूं. तो मैं पूरा छोड़ के एक पे दिमाग लगाया तो इजिली याद होता था मेरे को. तो दिस इज नॉट डिफिकल्ट वन, इजिली यू कैन रिमेंबर. क्योंकि मैं 7 सब्जेक्ट के साथ इसको याद रख रहा हूं, तो आप क्यों कर सकते हैं? I am remembering this subject along with 7 other subjects also. So a student can easily remember that. But challenge is what? A regular upgradation is required, regular study required. That is the challenge. Okay. Next, if any compensation is received for termination of contract or termination of any agreement, that amount is also consideration or compensation is also taxable under other sources. So any compensation or other payment referred to section 56 clause 2, that is any compensation or other payment due or received by any person connection with termination of employment or modification of terms and conditions. Clear? This point is already covered, but that is a agency relationship. Other than agency relationship, it is taxable under other sources. Agency services point already we covered. But this is agency. Other than agency, if terms and conditions are changed, terminated, contract is terminated, and you are receiving the consideration or compensation, that is taxable under which head? Other sources. Agency services related compensation for termination and modification separately. Other than that, separately. Agency related will be taxable under the head PGBP. And this is taxable under the head other sources, because both are treated as or covered in the definition of income. Clear? Next, subsidy, grant or cash incentive, duty drawback or waiver or concession or reimbursement, whatever name. Suppose if central government has given any subsidy, central government has given any grant, central government has given any assistance, central government has given any duty drawback, any waiver, okay, so that is also treated as income. Taxable or not, that we'll discuss at later stage, but that is treated as what? Income. तो इसमें ये पढ़े ना चैप्टर आप, गवर्नमेंट ग्रांट उसी का पॉइंट है ये. क्लियर? गवर्नमेंट ग्रांट पॉइंट क्लियर? That's it. So these points are important for your income. Remaining we'll discuss it in different chapters. Don't worry. ये important है, इसको याद रखना है आपको. Clear? So profits and gains of business and profession, dividend. Clear? Profits and gains of business and profession, dividend. Then perquisites, profit in lieu of salary, special allowances or allowances for meeting the personal obligations. Clear? Then amount of consideration or compensation under modification or termination of agency contract. Clear? Then profit from sale of import license, profit from sale of import license. Then any assistance or cash received from export transaction according to the government norms. Clear? Thereafter, salary, bonus, commission, interest by whatever name, remuneration is received by partner of partnership firm. Clear? Amount received under keyman insurance scheme, amount received under keyman insurance scheme. Then income of cooperative societies, banking business, insurance business. Clear? Next, capital gain, conversion of inventory into capital asset. Clear? Advance money forfeited. Clear? Gifts in excess of 50,000 rupees. Shares without consideration or inadequate consideration. Clear? Shares in which public is not substantially interested. So without consideration or sometime with means very normal consideration. Sometime without consideration also possible. Clear? Next is your duty drawback, cash incentives or waivers or subsidy, grant provided by central government. Clear? So these are the main items which you have to remember when section 2 subsection 24 is tested. Okay. Now next, concept of income. Concept of income means before studying income tax law we have to understand this. This knowledge is essential. This knowledge is essential. Means in income tax law normally revenue incomes are taxable. revenue nature items are mostly taxable, capital nature items are mostly not taxable, unless otherwise it is specifically mentioned in the law. So majority cases, revenue items are taxable, capital nature items are not taxable. But only in capital gain chapter some items are mentioned that is chargeable on capital receipt nature only, right? See here, income normally refer to what? Revenue receipt. Okay, income normally refers to what? Revenue. So revenue nature item, and income means net रहना चाहिए वो. Income should be always net receipt, that is not a gross receipt. What is meant by gross receipt and what is meant by net receipt? Gross receipt means from this if any expenses are there, that is not subtracted, or any expenditures are there, that is not subtracted. Net receipt means related expenses are subtracted. Related expenses are subtracted. So whenever we discuss about income, mostly it referred as what? Revenue nature. It is referred as what? Revenue nature. Clear? Next, on what basis income is taxable? Income is taxable either on receipt or due. Sometime it is taxable on receipt basis, sometime it is taxable on due basis, accrual basis, like salary income. Suppose you worked in company or still working in company, salary credited to your account. Salary credited to your account. Then it is called as what? Received. Suppose salary is not credited, but 1 month completed, income produced. In that case also that is taxable. It is not necessary कि after receipt only income taxable. Due basis also income is taxable. So due, receipt, whatever situation is there, whichever takes place earlier, accordingly incomes are taxable. Incomes are taxable. In income tax law, legal income or illegal income is not important. Income or not, that is important. Legal, illegal is not important. Clear? Taxable. Okay? अब देखिए, illegal incomes are taxable in the same manner as legal incomes. Clear? Next, income may be received in cash or in kind. In both cases, it is chargeable. Suppose if you receive income in cash, that is also treated as income. You receive any income in kind, that is also treated as income. Kind means suppose you are receiving the motor car facility. Actually में kind क्या रहता सुनो. Suppose you are a employee of the company. इसको अच्छे से समझाता हूँ, सुनो एक बार. एक मेरे घर के पास एक पर्सन है, उन्होंने जो है मसाज करते हैं, वो तो बॉडी बिल्डर है. उन्होंने अगर किसी को बहुत से पेन्स हो रहे हैं तो उन्होंने मसाज करते समझिए. तो उन्होंने क्या करते मालूम है? फीस नहीं लेते. उन्होंने खाली बोलते मेरे को खाना खिला दो बोलते. उन्होंने सुनो पहले पूरी स्टोरी. तो एक बार क्या करे, एक पर्सन को कुछ पॉइंट जॉइंट में पेन्स हो गया तो क्या करे, मसाज करवाए उनसे, अच्छा करवा ली पूरा ट्रीटमेंट. सर क्या होना, आपकी फीस ले लो. तो उन्होंने बोले मेरे को फीस नहीं देना, खाना खिलाओ बोले उन्होंने. तो उनके घर में पूरे लोग कितना खाना खाते हो, उससे डबल खाना खाते हो उन्होंने. पता उतना ज़बरदस्त डाइट है उनका. तो फिर उनको फीस देना अच्छा है, खाना खिलाना अच्छा है. हाँ, तो काइंड नको भाई, कैश ले लो बोलना उसको. क्या बोलना उसको? कैश ले लो, काइंड नहीं चाहिए. एक तो खाना बनाओ, फिर उसके ऊपर सुनो लाओ लाओ ही बोलते सिर्फ, वो अलग मेहनत है. तो काइंड का मतलब सपोज यू आर एम्प्लॉई, यू आर वर्किंग इन कंपनी, सो योर एम्प्लॉयर इज आस्किंग हाउ मच पैकेज यू वांट. तो आप बोले मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए सर, आई डोंट वांट एनीथिंग इन कैश, ओनली यू शुड अरेंज वन मोटर कार, यू शुड अरेंज डोमेस्टिक सर्वेंट, should arrange one villa or one 2 BHK furnished flat. Clear? You should provide one credit card and this many items, 65-inch LED TV. I don't want cash. तो क्या होगा फिर? वो सैलरी कैश में लेके जो खर्चा करने वाले हैं वो इससे आप ले रहे हैं. If you pay salary in cash, ultimately I will purchase these items only now. So instead of receiving cash from you and purchasing, directly you should provide this. दैट्स व्हाई इनकम टैक्स लॉ क्या बोल दिया वो लोग, कैश रहो काइंड रहो टैक्सेबल। क्यों, काइंड में अगर नहीं टैक्स लगाए तो क्या हो जाएगा, फिर उन्होंने सैलरी नहीं लेके क्या करेगा, काइंड लेंगे, फिर खाना खिलाओ बोलता है फिर उन्होंने, समझ में आया ना। तो एग्जाम्पल क्यों दिया अभी आपको वो, कि काइंड वाला टैक्सेबल है, कैश के साथ काइंड वाला टैक्सेबल है। नेक्स्ट, इनकम जो है रियल रहना चाहिए, इट नॉट बी फिटिशियस। इनकम इज ऑलवेज रियल, ये तो आप लॉ में भी पढ़ते ना, income must be always real, not fictitious. Clear? Then it must be arise from outside sources. Outside sources means you are dealing with other persons, then only it will arise. From your own dealing you cannot create any income. ऐसा बोलेंगे क्या, मैं अपने आप को 2 लाख रुपए के गुड्स बेच लिया, इनकम टैक्स में बताएंगे क्या, तुम 5 लाख रुपए इतना पैसा कहां से कमा कर लाए, पूछ रहा है इनकम टैक्स वाला। यू अर्न 5 लाख रुपीज ना भाई, फ्रॉम वेयर यू अर्न दिस, आप बोल रहे मैं अपने आप को गुड्स बेच लिया, तो 5 लाख का फायदा हो गया, तो इनकम टैक्स वाले क्या बोलेंगे, हम यहाँ पे ऑलरेडी लिखे भैया, तुम्हारे लिए बोलता हूँ, क्या बोलता, इनकम मस्ट बी फ्रॉम आउटसाइड रहना। क्लियर? तो सब लोग क्या करेंगे फिर, ब्लैक मनी लाएंगे, वाइट करेंगे, फिर ब्लैक मनी लेंगे उसको क्या करेंगे, वाइट करेंगे, क्या बोलकर, मैं गुड्स अपने आप को बेच लिया, ऐसा। तो इसलिए आउटसाइडर से होना है ट्रांजैक्शन, दिस विल बी फ्रॉम आउटसाइडर। क्लियर? जनरली डबल टैक्सेशन इज नॉट पॉसिबल इन इनकम टैक्स लॉ, इन वेरी एक्सट्रीम केसेस डबल टैक्सेशन इज पॉसिबल, मीन्स if there is an agreement between India and other countries to avoid the double taxation, then income is not double taxed. Similarly, in India, one income cannot be taxable 2 times. Cannot be taxable 2 times. In very extreme cases, that is possible, but ultimately the system is made in such a way that once one income is charged, again it is not chargeable. So double taxation is not possible. Double taxation is not possible. So same income cannot be taxed twice unless otherwise provided in law. तो जब तक लॉ में नहीं बोल रहा हूँ तब तक वो डबल टैक्सेशन नहीं होता, एक ही बार होता है वो। क्लियर? सपोज there is a dispute in title. There is a dispute in title. From disputed title also, if any benefit is coming, that is treated as income, like house property. By house property, you are saying this property belongs to me, and you saying this property belongs to me. This is a dispute. So both went to the court of law, and generally decision is pending. Clear? So both people are claiming कि property belongs to you and you, but ultimately court will decide ना. So right now you are receiving rent. So rent is taxable or not? Rent is treated as income or not? Even title is disputed, but you are generating the income or not? So that is treated as income. So disputed title, fair title की जरूरत नहीं है यहाँ पर, income आ रहा नहीं आ रहा वो important है। नहीं तो लोग क्या करेंगे मालूम है, जानबूझ के एक दूसरे पे केस डाल लेते हैं। भारत देश के लोगों के उतने इंटेलिजेंट लोग पूरे वर्ल्ड में नहीं मिलते आपको। सिंगापुर का जो टैक्स है ना वो सिर्फ 50 पेजेस का है। वो कितने पेजेस का है? 50। उसमें से भी मेन 10 पेजेस है उसके अंदर। कितने पेजेस है? मेन 10 पेजेस है सिर्फ, बाकी 40 तो थोड़ा एक्सप्लेनेशन है। वो भारत देश के अंदर हाउस प्रॉपर्टीज कम से कम 50 पेज का रहता। 298 सेक्शन है अपने पास, कितने? तो सिंगापुर का जो टैक्स सिस्टम है इतना ट्रांसपेरेंट टैक्स सिस्टम है कि आपको प्रॉब्लम से नहीं उसके अंदर। 10 पेजेस में खत्म, पूरा एक्सप्लेनेशन है उसके अंदर। 10 पेजेस का ही वो 40 में एक्सप्लेनेशन है वो। मतलब यह है कि अपने पास ट्रांसपेरेंसी की कमी है। किसकी कमी है? ट्रांसपेरेंसी की कमी है। क्लियर? The disputed title to income will not be withhold its taxability. It will be taxable in the hand of recipient. Clear? So this is concept of income. This is what? Concept of income. Clear? आया समझ में? Meaning of income and concept of income clear है? इंडिया वाले नहीं बना सकते क्या 10 पेज का टैक्सेशन सिस्टम? इंडिया वाला नहीं बना सकते क्या 10 पेज का टैक्स सिस्टम? Next, various heads of incomes. In income tax law, any income is chargeable in 5 different heads. Any income can be chargeable maximum to maximum from 5 heads only. Coverage will be in how many heads? 5 heads only. So first is salary. If there is a employer-employee relationship, pair-pay relationship, clear, master-servant relationship, then that income is chargeable under the head salary. So section 15 to 17 is the provisions. Next is, suppose any income is coming from house property by way of rent, then that is taxable or chargeable under house property. Clear? Sometimes there is a self-occupied property also, sometimes there is a let-out property also. So self-occupied property means you are not getting any rent, you are using for your own residential purpose. This is let-out. So generally income is coming from let-out only, na? Self-occupied, there is no possibility of any income. So in self-occupied always loss is there. What is there? Loss. So self-occupied loss is also you can show in house property head. See, in respective heads, only income is not arising, sometimes losses will also arise. So losses also you can show in the respective heads as a negative income. Clear? As a house property head, you don't have any let out property, but you have self-occupied property. So self-occupied property loss you can show here. Right? Next, business and profession. So any income which is arising from trading, business, manufacturing, it is chargeable under the head profits and gains of business and profession. Similarly, doctor, legal professional, accounting services, tax services. So all this is what? Professional income. Yoga, dance, clear? All these are what? Vocation. किस में रहेगा ये? Vocation. ये पूरा कौन साइड में आएगा? PGBP. Profits and gains of business and profession. PGBP में आएगा. Clear है? Next, if there is a sale of capital asset, sale of capital asset. Capital asset means what? Capital asset means what? Right now students are first time learners now, so they don't have the idea about capital asset. Capital asset means as per income tax law we have to understand. Clear? So in income tax law they clearly mention ki property of any kind. Property of any kind, movable or immovable also. Movable or immovable also. Thereafter they mentioned ki other than some items capital asset is considered. Other than some items. So for that we have to discuss capital gain chapter. So property of any kind, bhai, that can be movable also, that can be immovable also. If you transfer that and from that transfer any benefit is coming, that is chargeable under the head capital gain. Which head? Capital gain. Understand? Suppose you have gold, you sold the gold. Next you have any ancestral property, you sold that. You have plot of land, you sold that. Clear? So land is immovable item. Motor car, you sold, movable item. Clear? So some items will be movable, some items will be immovable. And they have given some exceptions also here. So those items are not treated as capital asset. Like stock in trade is not treated as capital asset. Similarly, agriculture land. Clear? Rural agricultural land, not urban. Rural agricultural land. Clear? Like this, some items are not treated as capital asset. So that we have to discuss in capital gain chapter. ओके देखिए ये सब्जेक्ट कैसा है मालूम है, आप ऑलरेडी जितना पढ़ लेते ना पूरा दिमाग में रहना हो. अभी मैं क्लास खत्म होने के बाद पूरा स्टार्टिंग से एंड तक जितना पढ़ा है पूरा बोलता हूँ आपको. तो यू आर परफेक्ट इन दिस. ये सब्जेक्ट में प्रॉब्लम नहीं समझ में आया बोल के किसको, हर स्टूडेंट को समझ में आता है टैक्स. मेन प्रॉब्लम क्या है, याद नहीं रहता उसको, क्योंकि पढ़ाने वाले को भी याद नहीं रहता, उन्हें भी भूल जाता. पढ़ाने वाला सब्जेक्ट अगर याद करके बोल सक रहा है, किसी भी टाइम पे कोई भी चीज़ का आंसर दे सक रहा है, तो स्टूडेंट को भी आसान दिखता सब्जेक्ट को. ये इंपॉर्टेंट है सब्जेक्ट में, समझने की कोशिश करो. कंप्लीशन ऑफ सब्जेक्ट इज नॉट इंपॉर्टेंट. एट एनी टाइम यू आस्क एनी क्वेश्चन and you are easily able to answer 90% questions, then subject will be looking like simple. That is important. Regular revise करना है इसको, नहीं तो आपको सब्जेक्ट फिर आगे जाने के बाद प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट करता है. रीजन इज यू ऑलरेडी हैव इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स ऑल्सो, साथ में इसके जुड़वा भाई भी है, वो अलग है, ये अलग है. Next is any income which is not taxable in first four heads: salary, house property, PGBP, capital gain, that is ultimately chargeable under other sources. So this is a residuary head. Residuary head means जिसका कोई नहीं होता खुदा यार हो. गाना है ना ऐसा, तो ऐसा है समझो. जैसे अब कोई इनकम इसमें आना चाह रहा है, ओवर आना है, गेट आउट. इसमें आना चाह रहा है, गेट आउट. इसमें आना चाह रहा है, गेट आउट. इसमें आना चाह रहा है, गेट आउट. नो बोलता वेलकम. ऐसा ही अदर सोर्सेस. अंडरस्टैंड? तो एनी इनकम विच इज नॉट चार्ज्ड और कवर्ड इन फर्स्ट फोर हेड, दैट इज अल्टीमेटली फॉलिंग इन लास्ट हेड, अदर सोर्सेस. क्लियर? सो हेड्स ऑफ इनकम्स आर मेंशन्ड इन सेक्शन 14. कौन से सेक्शन में? सेक्शन 14. क्लियर? ये तो उतना इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट नहीं है. नेक्स्ट, कैपिटल रिसीट एंड रेवेन्यू रिसीट वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. कैपिटल रिसीट एंड रेवेन्यू रिसीट. कैपिटल रिसीट मीन्स जनरली once you made that, there is no possibility ki there is a repetition in that. Those types of receipts are called as what? Capital. Like you are receiving donation, again there is no possibility you receive the donation until otherwise there is a emergency required or not. Like capital invested in business, again and again we do not invest the capital in business. So some transaction will have limited number of times take place. So those items are falling in capital. Some items are regular, not occasional. That is what? Revenue. This is the main to identify what is capital, what is revenue. So receipts relating to fixed capital. Receipts relating to fixed capital is what? Capital receipt. Like assets regularly will sell? No. Assets बार बार sell करते क्या? No. So that is capital receipt. Receipt on sale of capital asset. Okay. Next, receipt relating to circulation of capital. Receipts relating to circulation of capital. Like You have a stock in trade or inventory, so you are selling the inventory. So once you sold the inventory, again you purchase the inventory, again you will sell. So this process will repeat or not? Circulation will take place or not? So whenever circulation is taking place, that is what? Revenue. Occurrence, regularly occurring. So revenue receipt is relating to circulation of capital. Okay, like sale of stock in trade is a revenue receipt. Okay. Next, here in capital receipt nature, extinguishment is possible. What is possible? Extinguishment means repetition is not possible, extinguishment is possible. So compensation received for extinguishment of profit earning sources will be called as what? Capital nature items. Here compensation received for loss of profit or earnings is a revenue receipt. Compensation received for loss of profit or earnings is a revenue receipt. Means suppose here one capital asset is damaged, like you have one motor car or plant and machinery. You have one plant and machinery, right? That plant and machinery is insured. Suddenly suppose that plant and machinery has been damaged due to short circuit. So insurance company will take that plant and machinery and they will provide compensation. They will provide what? Compensation. So that compensation is capital nature. That compensation is what? Capital nature. Suppose you have taken the insurance policy for goods also and for loss of profit also. And suppose business has been affected due to fire and for certain period of time business activities is stopped. So already you have taken the loss of profit policy now. So for how much period your business activities are disturbed, maximum you can claim 6 months insurance amount for loss of profit. For loss of profit. So profit related losses also you can cover through insurance. So the compensation which you are receiving for loss of profit is revenue in nature, that is not capital, because profit is regularly earned item now. Profit is regularly earned item. Machinery compensation is regularly item, huh? That's why it is not a revenue, that is what? Capital. Once again I am repeating, suppose one capital asset is damaged and for that damaged asset you are receiving any compensation. Clear? So that is capital receipt. That is what? Capital receipt. But suppose there is a loss of profit. What? Loss of profit. Loss of profit means you have taken one insurance policy. एक insurance policy लिया. Your business is generally affected because of fire incident and you are covering 4 months profit also from this insurance policy. 4 months profit also from insurance policy. So this is revenue nature हो जाएगा. क्या हो जाएगा वो? Revenue nature. That is not treated as capital nature. That will be treated as what? Revenue nature. Okay. Next, capital receipts are generally exempted in tax unless otherwise it is stated. It is taxable. Revenue receipts are generally taxable. Capital receipts are generally exempted unless otherwise it is stated in the law. But revenue receipts are generally taxable. So both are opposite, contrary to each other. Capital receipts exempted from tax unless expressly taxable. Like except capital gain, if you have any other capital nature receipt, that is not taxable. Like loan borrowing. Loan borrowing is a capital receipt or revenue receipt? Loan borrow करना capital receipt है, revenue receipt है? Capital receipt, so that is not taxable, exempted रहता है उन्होंने, क्योंकि that is not a income ना, वो income ही नहीं है, वो income ही नहीं है, वो इसलिए वो taxable ही नहीं है. But capital gain is a income. Capital gain is what? Income. You purchase the property 10 years before and after 10 years suppose you are selling property and for that you are receiving extra consideration. So that is gain. That's why it is taxable. So mostly in income tax law, capital receipts are exempted. Mostly in income tax law, capital receipts are exempted until otherwise it is expressly taxable. But revenue receipts are taxable. Revenue receipts are what? Taxable. Sometime revenue receipts also exempted income tax law. If it is exempted, then no question of taxation. So for that we have to learn exempted income. What we have to learn? Exempted income. In income tax law, some incomes are exempted, like agriculture income. If assessee is earning the income from only agriculture, the agricultural income is what? Exempted रहता है. Clear? Agriculture income is what? Exempted. So many different incomes are there which are exempted. I am giving one main example ki agriculture income in Indian income tax law is what? Exempted. Clear? Next, compensation received for relinquishment of interest is capital asset, is capital receipt. Clear? Compensation received for relinquishment of interest in stock in trade is revenue receipt. ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लेन कर दिया ना मैं कि कोई असेट है, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी जो है उसका पैसा दे रही है और वो असेट ले रही है, तो क्या हो गया? आप कैपिटल नेचर का हो गया. वो किस नेचर का हो गया है? कैपिटल. और गुड्स है आपके पास, यू हैव गुड्स, एंड फॉर गुड्स यू आर रिसीविंग एनी अमाउंट, so that amount will be regularly or on occasional basis. Regularly बेचेंगे ना आप. Stock and trade regularly you sell or occasionally you will sell regularly, so that is revenue. So compensation received for relinquishment interest in stock in trade is a business revenue receipt. Clear? Even if you receive from insurance company also, it is treated as what? Revenue. Like there is a fire incident taken place, goods destroyed, you are receiving the compensation from insurance company, then in that case also it is treated as what? Revenue. Capital nature रहता है, क्योंकि कौन सा आइटम है? वो स्टॉक इन ट्रेड है. Suppose there is a plant machinery or any capital asset, for that you are receiving, means that is not revenue, that is what? Capital. Clear? Next, subsidy or grant. Subsidy or grant received from government for setup of business. So subsidy again and again you receive or only one time? Once. So subsidy or grant mostly you receive once, occasionally. That's why it is what? Capital. Sometime grant or subsidy can be treated as revenue if it is received regularly. If it is received regularly. Subsidy regular भी आ सकता है. Mostly it is occasional only. Mostly क्या रहता है ये? Occasional. But sometime it can be regular nature also. Clear? In that case, it will be treated as what? Revenue receipt. And one more point is also necessary. If subsidy or grant is received for setup of business, it is capital nature. For meeting one of the expenses of the business, then it is revenue रहता है. To meet one of the expenses, if subsidy received, that is treated as what? Revenue. To start the business, it is treated as capital. Okay. Next, suppose if you sell any shares, securities which are purchased from an investor, so the profits or gains arising from such sale is which nature? Capital receipt. But suppose you are a regular trader, you are a regular trader, आपका काम ही है शेयर बेचना खरीदना. So for regular trader, sale and purchase of shares will be treated as what? Revenue. Understand? Revenue हो जाएगा फिर. So this is capital receipt and revenue receipt. So ultimately why this we understand? कि in income tax law, sometime capital receipts also taxable, and sometime mostly capital receipts are exempted. And income tax law, revenue receipts are mainly, means majorly taxable, but sometime it is exempted also. Sometime it is, उसके लिए पढ़े, एग्जाम में नहीं आता क्वेश्चन ये, क्योंकि अब आपका पेपर 50-50 का है ना, ये सब नहीं पूछता हूँ ना. मेरे को मालूम है ना क्या पूछने वाला, वो बोल देता हूँ मैं, पढ़ के चले जाओ आप. कंपल्सरी बोल देता हूँ मैं, 100% आता. लास्ट पेपर में आ गया ऑलरेडी, वो डायरेक्ट टैक्स के पेपर में. समझ में आया ना? लास्ट टाइम बोल दिया मैं कि यही चाहता, खत्म, क्योंकि मेरे को मालूम है ना कागज से पेपर बनाते हैं. क्योंकि टैक्स इज अमेंडमेंट से रिलेटेड सब्जेक्ट है. इससे रिलेटेड है तो अपने को मालूम रहता हो ना कहाँ से पेपर से ले सकता क्वेश्चन. इजिली वी कैन प्रिडिक्ट, क्योंकि कंपल्सरी दे विल कवर द अमेंडमेंट, कंपल्सरी दे विल कवर दी अमेंडमेंट, तो अमेंडमेंट कंपल्सरी कवर करता हूँ। तो कौन कौन से कवर करेंगे वो मालूम है अपने को, बोलते हैं हम लोग, टेंशन ले रहे आप, ये नहीं आता एग्जाम में सब, सेवन कैपिटल रहे सब, दिस इज ओनली फॉर नॉलेज पर्पज वी आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग, दिस इज बेस फॉर योर सब्जेक्ट, विदाउट दिस बेस you cannot understand the complicated chapters smoothly. That is the purpose of this topics. Understand? तो इसमें से कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आएगा आपको, बेफिक्र रहिए आप, होने के बाद देख लो पेपर आता क्या, नॉट पॉसिबल। 100 मार्क पेपर है तो आ सकता था ऐसा, अब हो गया 50, डमी कर दिया पेपर को, नो, तो इंपॉर्टेंट ही आते हैं उसमें से, क्लियर। उसमें भी फिर एमसीक्यू रहता, उसमें भी क्या रहता, एमसीक्यू रहता। चलिए, सो टैक्स रेट्स व्हेन वी स्टार्ट ऑटोमेटिकली यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, एंड नेक्स्ट इज आईसीडीएस। आईसीडीएस तो आपके सिलेबस में है नहीं, इनकम कंप्यूटेशन डिस्क्लोजर स्टैंडर्ड, बिकॉज आपका पेपर हो गया है 50 अब, तो इन 50 मार्क पेपर यू डोंट हैव द आईसीडीएस, ओके। एंड सपोज इफ यू हैव आईसीडीएस ऑल्सो, द प्रॉब्लम इज आपको पूरे स्टैंडर्ड में पूरा नॉलेज रहना पड़ता, तो आईसीडीएस समझ में आता। अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड से जो रिलेटेड है वो मालूम रहना आपको, तो फिर ये आईसीडीएस समझ में आते हैं। वैसे में भी इन 50 मार्क पेपर आईसीडीएस इज नॉट देयर, डोंट वरी, ओके। व्हाट इज दिस, आई विल एक्सप्लेन, डोंट वरी, वेट 2 minutes टाइम ओनली ओवरव्यू रिक्वायर्ड ना, यू आर नॉट लर्निंग इन डेप्थ बिकॉज दैट इज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ योर सिलेबस। नेक्स्ट इज एवरेज रेट एंड मैक्सिमम मार्जिनल रेट ऑफ इनकम टैक्स, ओके। एवरेज रेट का मतलब रहता है कि हाउ मच इनकम टैक्स अमाउंट यू कैलकुलेटेड। सपोज यू कैलकुलेटेड द इनकम टैक्स अमाउंट ऑन वन इनकम, जैसे कि यूर इनकम इज 10 lakh एंड यू कैलकुलेटेड द टैक्स ऑन दिस 10 lakh, सपोज इट केम्स टू 1,20,000। So next time also, for better understandability and convenience, average rate is calculated, means 1,20,000 income tax, income how much, 10 lakhs, so it means your income is taxed according to what rate, इसको बोलते हैं average rate of income tax, this is called as average rate of income tax, so that next time we can predict भी कि if I am 20 lakh income, 12% approximately taxable, 12% approximately taxable, so that is the main purpose of average rate of tax, understand? Next is maximum marginal rate. Maximum marginal rate means, suppose if you are an individual assessee, for one individual assessee what can be the maximum tax rate, maximum tax rate, जैसे कि आप गैस सिलेंडर लेते हैं ना, आप सिलेंडर मैक्सिमम कितने सिलेंडर मिलते हैं एक साल में आपको, 12 मिलते हैं, उससे ज़्यादा ले सकते हैं आप, क्यों नहीं ले सकते, गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसी 12 ही देने की है, तो ज़्यादा लेने मिलते हैं ना आपको, ब्लैक में लेना पड़ता, ब्लैक का नहीं भाई यहाँ पे, अब ब्लैक मनी का नहीं चल रहा है यहाँ पे बात, लीगल लीगल में, ब्लैक में तो तुम्हारे को जो है सोना मिलता है, चांदी मिलता है, या हीरे जवाहरात भी मिलते हैं, सिलेंडर कैसा नहीं मिलता जी। तो मैक्सिमम मार्जिनल रेट ऑफ इनकम टैक्स मीन्स फॉर वन इंडिविजुअल पर्सन व्हाट विल बी द मैक्सिमम टैक्स रेट, व्हाट विल बी द मैक्सिमम टैक्स रेट एक इंडिविजुअल को। अब आप सोच रहे हैं बैठे बैठे कि इफ आई अर्न 5 crore rupees, हाउ मच मैक्सिमम माई इनकम इज टैक्सेबल, तो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा भी अगर टैक्स लगा दी गवर्नमेंट तो हाउ मच इट विल बी, उसका आंसर है क्लियर। तो कितने परसेंट टैक्स रहेगा, 42.7 मीन्स 43 समझ लो अप्रोक्सीमेटली। सपोज इफ यू आर अर्निंग 100 rupees, मैक्सिमम टू मैक्सिमम इफ टैक्स इज चार्ज हाउ मच यू हैव टू पे, 43, 57 आपका बचता उसके बाद, ओके। लेकिन ये सेक्शन में अगर गए तुम इसका भी रिकॉर्ड ब्रेक कर देता हूं. विच सेक्शन? Undisclosed sources of income. 68, 69, A, B, C, D. Yesterday we completed na. In that tax rates are very high. Other than that, maximum, what is the tax rate? 42.744. 42.744 कैसे आ रहा है? मैक्सिमम टैक्स रेट कितना रहता भारत देश में? 30. सरचार्ज 37. सेस तो पूरों का अगर इफेक्टिव निकाले तो कितना होता? 30 के ऊपर 37% करो, 30 प्लस उस पर 4% करो, ये आता है रेट. फर्स्ट 30% भाई, मैक्सिमम टैक्स रेट कितना रहता है? 5. देखो पहले क्या था मालूम है? 10 था, 20, 30 था. 10, 20, 30. अभी 5. अभी उल्टे हो गए टैक्स रेट. तुम जो पढ़े ना वो सब जेब में डाल देना. अब पूरा नया स्लैब आ गया. आप 2 तरह के टैक्स हो गए. डिफॉल्ट टैक्स, ऑप्शनल टैक्स. डिफॉल्ट टैक्स, ऑप्शनल टैक्स. तो डिफॉल्ट में 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 है. कितने? 5 से शुरू के कहां तक है? 30 तक है. समझ में आया ना? पहले क्या था? 5, 20, 30 थे. उससे पहले क्या था? 10, 20, 30 थे. अभी क्या कर दिए लोग? 5 से स्टार्ट करें. हाँ, ऑप्शनल टैक्स में 5, 20, 30 है. समझ में आया ना? ऑप्शनल के अंदर है वो. तो प्रीवियस ईयर सपोज एनी स्टूडेंट लर्न द टैक्सेशन, इन दैट व्हाट इज योर जनरल टैक्स रेट. नाउ दोज ऑल जनरल टैक्स रेट दे कन्वर्टेड इनटू ऑप्शनल. नाउ प्रीवियस इनकम टैक्स व्हाट यू लर्न इन दैट व्हाट इज ऑप्शनल दैट वाज मेड मैंडेटरी नाउ, और डिफॉल्ट टैक्स नाउ. तो लास्ट ईयर जो टैक्स पड़े ना उसमें जो ऑप्शनल था ना वो मैंडेटरी हो गया है. मैंडेटरी मीन्स डिफॉल्ट टैक्स हो गया है वो. और लास्ट ईयर जो आप मेन डिफॉल्ट में पड़े थे अब वो ऑप्शनल हो गया है. रिवर्स कर दिया उन्होंने टैक्स पूरा. दैट विल डिस्कस इन नेक्स्ट क्लास, डोंट वरी. अच्छा, उसमें से क्वेश्चन भी आया तो इजी है आपके लिए, इजीली स्कोर कर सकते हैं आप. पहले वाला टैक्स थोड़ा डिफरेंट था, ये इजी है. और क्लियर? तो मैक्सिमम इंडिविजुअल हाउ मच टैक्स रेट? ये वाला कैसे आए? 30 प्लस 37, फिर इन दोनों के ऊपर फिर 4. क्लियर? ऐसा नहीं करना. कोई बच्चे 30 प्लस 37 पे तो 67 हो जाता है ना. 30 पे 37%, फिर इन दोनों के जो है फिर उस पर 4% इफेक्टिव टैक्स. ओके, आया ना समझ में? नेक्स्ट, लास्ट एंड फाइनल. इन सम केसेस वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड the proviso also and explanation also. Proviso means whatever is explained in provision, exception to that will be called as proviso, or other than that is called as proviso. Means income tax law में जो main section रहता है, what that explains, that is called as provision. That is called as what? Provision. उसको बोलते हैं provision. And in provision, suppose one explanation is given, one rule is given. So proviso will explain what? Other than that. Proviso will explain what? Other than that. तो proviso में उसका जो provision में वो नहीं रहेगा, उसका totally different रहेगा. समझ में आया? उसको क्या बोलते हैं? Proviso. तो provision is different, proviso is different. तो exception बोलना, उसको क्या बोलना? Mostly exception रहता है उसमें. Exception जैसे कि previous year, rule of previous year is what? Income earned in previous year is chargeable to tax in next year. Income earned in previous year is chargeable to tax in next year, assessment year. So previous year income is assessable in assessment year. This is general rule, but there is a proviso in that. कि previous year income is taxable in previous year itself. Income of non-resident shipping company, income of person living in India permanently without means having the intention to come back to India. Clear? Income of discontinued business, income of a person who is transferring the asset to avoid taxes, any organization which has been set up for temporary or for that particular purpose. Clear? ये पूरे किस में आते हैं? Income earned in previous year is chargeable in that year only, not in next year. उस ईयर में चार्ज हो जाता है वो. So that is what? Proviso. Provision में क्या लिखा हुआ है? प्रीवियस ईयर इनकम टैक्सेबल इन नेक्स्ट ईयर, प्रोविजन में उसको उल्टा रहता है। अंडरस्टैंड? आया समझ में? एक्सप्लेनेशन का मतलब क्या है? क्लेरिफिकेशन। एक्सप्लेनेशन का मतलब क्या है? क्लैरिफिकेशन। क्लियर? तो जो प्रोविजन रहता है उसका जो क्लैरिफिकेशन है उसको बोलते हैं एक्सप्लेनेशन। सपोज वन प्रोविजन इज मेड, जैसे कि अब इनकम टैक्स में प्रोविजन आता आपको, परक्विजिट्स टैक्सेबल टू ऑल एम्प्लॉयज। तो तुम्हारे को मालूम रहना ना मीनिंग ऑफ परक्विजिट क्या है? दैट विल बी एक्सप्लेन इन एक्सप्लेनेशन। दैट विल बी एक्सप्लेन इन एक्सप्लेनेशन। स्पेसिफाइड एम्प्लॉय बोल के बोलता है इनकम टैक्स लॉ में। स्पेसिफाइड एम्प्लॉय का मतलब क्या है? वो एक्सप्लेन करता है फिर। एम्प्लॉय डायरेक्टर, एम्प्लॉय शेयर होल्डर, so these persons are treated as what? Specified employee. So that is what? Explanation. That is what? Explanation. Understand? So explanation means clarification. क्या रहता है वो? Clarification. So this is all about your basic concepts. तो इसके साथ आपके basic concept खत्म हो गए हैं। Next class में we will start tax rates now. Now suppose if any SSC is maintaining books of accounts for profits and gains of business and profession. So any SSC who is doing the business or profession has to maintain books of accounts or not? तो ये 44 ये सेक्शन में आता है आपको मेंटेनेंस ऑफ बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स, और इसमें रहता है ऑडिट। आया समझ में? तो आगे पढ़ेंगे आप ये। तो एनी पर्सन हु इज अर्निंग द इनकम फ्रॉम बिजनेस और प्रोफेशन, that person is required to assess his income under the head profits and gains of business and profession, right? So he can maintain books of accounts from two different bases, either cash or mercantile, कोई भी एसएससी बिजनेस या प्रोफेशन में अपने बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स कैश से मेंटेन कर सकता है तो फिर मर्केंटाइल से मेंटेन कर सकता है। मर्केंटाइल मीन्स अक्रूवल। मर्केंटाइल मीन्स व्हाट? अक्रूवल। तो कैश बेसिस से कर लो या मर्केंटाइल से कर लो। कैश बेसिस से करें तो कैश रिसीट्स, कैश पेमेंट्स ओनली कवर्ड इन दैट। नॉन कैश आइटम्स आर नॉट कवर्ड। नॉन कैश में डिप्रिसिएशन कैन बी क्लेम्ड, बट सपोज आउटस्टैंडिंग ड्यू ट्रांजैक्शंस आर नॉट कवर्ड। ओनली रिसीट ट्रांजैक्शन, पेड ट्रांजैक्शंस कवर्ड, बट डिप्रिसिएशन क्लेम पॉसिबल। अब तुम कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट भी पढ़ते, अब कैश फ्लो स्टेटमेंट में डिप्रिसिएशन नहीं आता, वाई? नॉन कैश है। बट in income tax law books of accounts are maintained according to cash receipts, cash payment minus depreciation possible. By depreciation if you do not claim, your income will increase or not? और income tax law में बोल रहा हूँ claiming depreciation mandatory बोलता हूँ। सेक्शन 32 में क्या बोलता हूँ? claiming depreciation is mandatory. आप depreciation नहीं लेना चाह रहे तो नहीं लेना ही बोलता हूँ। तो in cash system also depreciation you have to subtract, mercantile also depreciation you have to subtract. तो कैश सिस्टम में ओनली रिसीट्स, पेमेंट्स, ऑन दैट बेसिस इनकम इज कंप्यूटेड। मर्केंटाइल में अक्रूवल बेसिस, व्हाट अर्न, व्हाट इंकर्ड, अर्न इंकर्ड बेसिस इज अक्रूवल, रिसीट पेमेंट बेसिस कैश। कंपनीज एक्ट में ओनली अक्रूवल रहता है। कंपनीज एक्ट में क्या रहता है? ओनली अक्रूवल। इनकम टैक्स लॉ में कैश भी है, अक्रूवल भी है। तो अगर कंपनी है, समझिए, वन कंपनी तो अब कैश कर ही नहीं सकता ना, क्योंकि वहाँ पे कौन सा एक्ट में बोल दिया उन्होंने कैश नहीं करना? कंपनीज एक्ट। तो कंपनी तो हमेशा किससे करेगा? तो ये पार्टनरशिप फर्म प्रोप्राइटर के लिए पॉसिबल है। किसके लिए पॉसिबल है ये? देन अलॉन्ग विथ दिस कैश और मर्केंटाइल सिस्टम दे हैव टू कंप्लाई विथ इनकम कंप्यूटेशन डिस्क्लोजर स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑल्सो। ICDS भी वो लोग फॉलो करना पड़ता है। बस ये आपको जस्ट ओवरव्यू के लिए है, ऐसा भी अपन PGBP चैप्टर पढ़ जाए, अभी सब पॉइंट्स आते हैं। ओके, तो विद दिस योर बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स आर कंप्लीटेड। ये बाकी के सब जो है आपको टैक्स रेट में कवर करा दूंगा। फर्स्ट बिफोर स्टार्टिंग द टैक्स रेट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस कंप्यूटेशन, देन विल स्टार्ट द टैक्स रेट। ओके, so first immediately what is required? whatever is completed, you have to revise that. SSC, assessment year, previous year, clear. Undisclosed sources of incomes, clear. Exception to the rule of previous year, clear. ये सब आपको अच्छे से याद रहना चाहिए. Next, meaning of income, clear. Then easily you can understand the basic things.